Yoga Marga in Bhagavan Ramana's own words. Manolaya means concentration, temporarily arresting the movement of thoughts. Meditation requires an object to meditate upon, whereas there is only the subject without the object in vichara. Meditation differs from vichara in this way. Meditation is sticking to one thought. That single thought keeps away other thoughts. Distraction of mind is a sign of its weakness. By constant meditation it gains strength, that is to say, the weakness of fugitive thought gives place to the enduring background free from thought. This expanse, devoid of thought, is the Self. Mind in purity is the Self. Question: how is Dhyana practiced? With eyes open or closed? Answer: it must be done either way. The point is that the mind must be introverted and kept active in its pursuit. The mind is contaminated when it takes in objects. Otherwise, it is pure. The main factor in dhyana is to keep the mind active in its own pursuit without taking in external impressions or thinking of other matters. By stopping the breath, the 5 elements in the body are bound down and controlled. What remains is the real self. Question: is marriage a bar to spiritual progress? Answer: the householder's life is not a bar, but the householder must do his utmost to practice self-control. If a man has a strong desire for the higher life, then the sex tendency will subside. When the mind is destroyed, the other desires are destroyed also. Fasting should be chiefly mental, abstinence from thoughts. Mere abstinence from food will do no good, it will even upset the mind. Spiritual unfoldment will come rather by regulating eating. Sleep and food should not be taken in excess. There is no harm in eating 3 to 4 times a day, but only do not say, I want this kind of food and not that kind. Food affects the mind. For the practice of any kind of yoga, vegetarianism is absolutely necessary, since it makes the mind more sattvic, pure and harmonious. The quality of food influences the mind. The mind feeds on the food consumed. It is the mind that matters. The fact is that the mind has been trained to think certain food tasty and good. Ahimsa, non-violence, stands foremost in the code of discipline for the yogis. Tobacco is a poison. It is better to do without it. Question. Generally speaking, what are the rules of conduct which an aspirant should follow? Answer. Moderation in food, moderation in sleep, and moderation in speech. You are the seeker, seeking union with something. If you assume this, then that something must be apart from you. But yourself is intimate to you and you are always aware of it. Seek it and be it. Then it will expand as the infinite and there will be no question of yoga. Whose is the separation, V-yoga? Find out to whom is the V-yoga. That is yoga. Yoga is really nothing but ceasing to think that you are different from the self or reality. There is no question of union or yoga in the sense of gaining and joining something that is somewhere away from us or different from us, because you never were or could be separate from the self. Breath control is only an aid for diving deep within oneself. One may as well dive down by controlling the mind. When the mind is controlled, the breath is controlled automatically. In the absence of inquiry and devotion, the natural sedative pranayama, breath regulation, may be tried. If the breath is held, the mind cannot afford to and does not jump at its pets, external objects. Thus, there is rest for the mind so long as the breath is held. The source of the breath is the same as that of the mind. Therefore, the subsidence of either leads effortlessly to the subsidence of the other. A more advanced man will naturally go direct to control of mind without wasting his time in practicing control of breath. Inhaling, retaining, and exhaling is more violent and may be harmful in some cases. For example, when there is no proper guru to guide the seeker at every step and stage. But merely watching the breath is easy and involves no risk. Kundalini Shakti is there for all people, whatever path they follow. It is only a difference in name. Kundalini is only another name for Atma or Self or Shakti. When the yogi has reached the heart, the samadhi becomes permanent. Thus, we see that the heart is the final center. From the self, the ego rises up, confuses itself with the body, mistakes the world to be real, and then, covered with egoistic conceit, it sinks wildly and looks for asanas or seats. Such a person does not understand that he himself is the center of all and thus forms the basis for all. The asana, seat, is meant to make him sit firm. Where and how can he remain firm except in his own real state? This is the real asana. The asana of the heart is peaceful and gives happiness. There is no need for any other asana for those who are seated in that one. When the mind is in communion with the self in darkness, it is called nidra, sleep. That is, the immersion of the mind in ignorance. Immersion in a conscious or wakeful state is called samadhi. Holding on to the supreme state is samadhi. When it is with effort due to mental disturbances, it is savikalpa. Total absence of body consciousness has the advantage of making the samadhi more intensive, although it makes no difference to the knowledge of the Supreme. In nirvikalpa, the senses are inactive and thoughts are totally absent. Hence, the experience of pure consciousness in this state is intense and blissful. One who accustoms himself naturally to meditation will not lose his samadhi state, whatever external work he does, whatever thoughts may come to him. If the mind is destroyed, as it is in sahaja samadhi, it will never sprout again. Whatever is done by such people is just incidental. They will never slide down from the higher state. Samadhi alone can reveal the truth. Thoughts cast a veil over reality. In samadhi, there is only the feeling I am and no thoughts. The experience of I am is being still. By earnestly trying to destroy the deceptive mental turmoil, experience that samadhi as the peaceful consciousness which is inner clarity. External samadhi is holding on to the reality while witnessing the world without reacting to it from within. The internal samadhi involves loss of body consciousness. To be one's own self is samadhi. Samadhi is one's natural state. It is the undercurrent in all the three states of waking, dreaming, and sleeping. If we get samadhi in our waking state, that will persist in deep sleep also. The final stage of samadhi has to be reached in which one becomes ananda or one with reality. There is no greater remedy than this continuous yoga or union with God or Atma. Pain is inevitable as a result of discarding of vasanas, mental tendencies, which you have had for so long. Question: which posture, asana, is the best? Answer: any asana, possibly Sukha asana, easy posture, or the half Buddha position. But that is immaterial for Dhyana, the path of knowledge. Concentration of the mind is in a way common to both knowledge and yoga. Question: what diet is prescribed for a sadhak, one who is engaged in spiritual practices? Answer: sattvic food in limited quantities. Question: what is sattvic food? Answer: bread, fruits, vegetables, milk, etc. External contacts with objects other than itself, make the mind restless. Loss of interest in non-self, vairagya, is the first step. Then the habits of introspection and concentration follow. They are characterized by control of external senses, internal faculties, etc., sama, dhamma, etc., ending in samadhi, undistracted mind. If life is imperiled, the whole interest centers around the one point, the saving of life. If the breath is held, the mind cannot afford to and does not jump at its pets, external objects. Thus, there is rest for the mind so long as the breath is held. All attention being turned on breath or its regulation, other interests are lost. Again, passions are attended with irregular breathing, whereas calm and happiness are attended with slow and regular breathing. If respiration or other vital activity is forcibly repressed, thought also is repressed. If thought is forcibly slowed down and pinned to a point, the vital activity of respiration is slowed down, made even and confined to the lowest level compatible with life. Question: are there any aids to 1. concentration and 2. casting off distractions? Answer: physically, the digestive and other organs are kept free from irritation. Therefore, food is regulated both in quantity and quality. Non-irritants are eaten, avoiding chilies, excess of salt, onions, wine, opium, etc. Avoid constipation, drowsiness, and excitement, and all foods which induce them. Mentally, take interest in one thing and fix the mind on it. Let such interest be all-absorbing to the exclusion of everything else. Some knowledge is needed for yoga and it may be found in books, but practical application is the thing needed, and personal example, personal touch and personal instructions are the most helpful aids. There is the steady impulse of your determination that sets you on your feet again after every downfall and breath down. Gradually, the obstacles are all overcome and your current becomes stronger. Everything comes right in the end. Steady determination is what is required. Breath control, pranayama, properly performed should increase one's strength. Do not regret the tamas, darkness, but when sattva, brightness, comes into play, hold on it fast. One should be in spontaneous samadhi, that is, in one's pristine state, in the midst of every environment. Pranayama, breath control, is for one not endowed with strength to control the mind. Does not one find some kind of peace while in meditation? That is the sign of progress. That peace will be deeper and more prolonged with continued practice. Dhyana comes only step by step with the gradual weakening of vasanas by the grace of the Master. Samadhi is one's natural state. It is the undercurrent in all the three states. Question: does samadhi soothe nadis, or do they excite them by such experiences? Answer: they are excited at first. By continued experience it becomes common and the man is no longer excited. Yoga, union, is for one in Viyoga, separation. But there is only one. Absolute fasting makes the mind weak too. Take moderate food and go on practicing. Contemplation is a forced mental process, whereas samadhi lies beyond effort. Patanjali's first sutra is applicable to all systems of yoga. The aim is the cessation of mental activities. The methods differ. So long as there is effort made towards that goal, it is called yoga. The effort is the yoga. Breath retention is an aid to control the mind. Question: what is samadhi? Answer: one's own true nature. Turn your vision inward, and then the whole world will be full of Supreme Spirit. Practice breath control just a little, and the mind will be purified. By breath control, the mind will be only temporarily quiescent, because the tendencies are still there. the man is already overwhelmed by world concepts. Other concepts are now added in the shape of this yoga. The object of all these is to rid the man of concepts and to make him inhere as the pure self, the absolute consciousness, bereft of thoughts. Why not go straight to it? Why add new encumbrances to the already existing ones? Question: the mind is not steady in meditation. Answer: whenever it wanders, turn it inward again and again. Meditation on forms or concrete objects is said to be Dhyana, whereas the inquiry into the self is Vichara. For the beginner, meditation on a form is more easy and agreeable. Practice of it leads to Atma Vichara. We have become rooted in forms, and so we require a concrete form for meditating upon. Question: what about practicing meditation in a group or alone? Answer: the latter is advisable for beginners, but we must learn to advance to the point where we create our mental solitude. Then it will not matter where we are. We must learn to find solitude mentally in the midst of society. We should not give up our meditation because we are among people, but carry it on even then. Just do not be ostentatious about it. Do it secretly. Do not make an exhibition of the fact that you are meditating. Prana and mind arise from the same source. The source can be reached by holding the breath or training the mind. Question: how will the sexual impulse cease to be? Answer: when differentiation ceases. Question: it is said that the yogi should sit on a deerskin as this prevents the loss of magnetism during meditation. Answer: it is not necessary. The earth will not rob you of the effects of your meditation because you do not happen to use a deerskin. When the attempt is made, it will of itself take you to the goal. Hatha Yoga is a cleaning process. It also helps peace of mind. Pranayama is an aid for the control of mind. Only you should not stop with pranayama. You must proceed further to pratyahara, dharana, dhyana and samadhi. Full results are reaped finally. Question: how are lust, anger, acquisitiveness, confusion, pride and jealousy overcome? Answer: by Dhyana. Question: what is Dhyana? Answer: Dhyana is holding on to a single thought and putting off all other thoughts. When the object of love prevails, only good thoughts hold the field. Therefore, hold on to one thought only. Dhyana is the chief practice. Dhyana means fight. As soon as you begin meditation, other thoughts will crowd together, gather force, and try to think the single thought to which you try to hold. The good thought must gradually gain strength by repeated practice. One wants to rid oneself of misery. It requires peace of mind, which means absence of perturbation owing to all kinds of thoughts. Peace of mind is brought about by dhyana alone. Pranayama is meant for one who cannot directly control the thoughts. It serves as a brake to a car. After the fruition of dhyana, the mind will come under control even in the absence of pranayama. The asanas, postures, help pranayama, which helps dhyana in its turn, and peace of mind results. When dhyana is well established, it cannot be given up. It will go on automatically even when you are engaged in work, play, or enjoyment. It will persist in sleep too. Dhyana must become so deep-rooted that it will be natural to one. Dhyana is itself the action, the rite, and the effort. It is the most intense and potent of all. No other effort is necessary. Samadhi is perfect peace. After emerging from samadhi, the remembrance of the state gives rise to the symptoms such as horripilation, sobbing voice, joyful tears, etc. Samadhi means sleep in waking state. Bliss is overpowering and the experience is very clear, whereas it is different in sleep. The bliss of samadhi is a perfectly clear experience and its recollection also is similar. But the experience of sleep is otherwise. The jhanis point out that the yogi assumes the existence of the body, its separateness from the self, and therefore advises effort for reunion by the practice of yoga. Whether one understands it or not, one is not away from the center. Practice of yoga or vichara is done always remaining in the center only. Control of breath or its regulation is only for controlling the mind so that the mind may not wander away. Question: is no particular time necessary for meditation? Answer: meditation depends on strength of mind. It must be unceasing even when engaged in work. Why practice? Because their modes of mind once subside and then rise up, again subside and then rise up, and so on. Breath control is recommended for the man who cannot control his mind straight away. Question: I practice pranayama. It generates heat in the body. What should I do? Answer: the heat will pass away when the mind gains calm. Question: how is brahmacharya to be practiced in order that it may be successfully lived up to? Answer: it is a matter of willpower. Sattvic food, prayers, etc. are useful aids to it. Question: some young men take the vow of brahmacharya. Is it okay? Answer: they need not take a vow, but they may try it without the vow. Life in Brahman is brahmacharya, and it is not a forcible attempt at it. Question: I wanted to practice Raja Yoga. I could not do it because of my physical unfitness. The mind also began to wander with the movement of the body. Answer: if the mind be kept immovable, let the body change as much as it likes. Samadhi is present even in practical life. Our activities have no existence apart from samadhi. The screen is there when the pictures move past on it and also when they are not projected. Kundalini is one name given by the yogic people for what may be called Atma Shakti inside the body.